Welcome, Coker Athletic fans, to another exciting episode of the Cobra Corner. My name is Will Habel, and I will be your host today alongside JT Colapetro and David Mack. We've got a great show for you guys today. Sit back as we unpack the greatest updates from Coker University Athletics. This week, we would like to recognize an outstanding athlete who has truly shined. This week, we are featuring Coker men's basketball's leading scorer, new record holder, Canton, Ohio product, Andre Leavell. Andre, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Jump right into it. You had a record-breaking performance, 42 points against was that Emory and Henry?
Yep.
The 360 layup that kind of sealed it there at the end. How does it feel to etch yourself in the record books here at Coker, nonetheless in front of the old record holder was in attendance to watch that game?
It was exciting. I actually didn't know about the record. I thought about it earlier in the year when I hit 36. I'm like, dang, what's the record? I know it can't be too high. But I really wasn't going for the record. I really wanted to dunk, but dude was in the way, so I just did the layup. And then after, a lady came up to me and said, hey, I don't know if you know, but you broke the record. And I was like, wow, for real? And she's like, yeah, the dude is over here right now. Want to take a picture? So I took a picture with him. It was just a crazy experience. Like, I was happy for her.
Yeah, that's awesome and what's even crazier is that you were exactly at 40 before the lay, and then on like the 360 lay is what broke and put you right at the top. So to have that moment and Will capturing that and being able to have that it must be pretty cool for sure.
No, yeah, it's nice. That was nice.
And obviously, I want to travel back to earlier in the season for another personal milestone for yourself of capturing 1,000 points and everything like that. Obviously, you get to do it and everything like that. And for you, it's been a whirlwind journey and everything like that. And I got to ask, what was it like kind of also just getting your 1,000th point this?
No, that was a milestone I had for a long time because I didn't get to do it in high school. So in high school, I didn't get to do it. So in college, like that was one of my main goals to be 1,000 scorer because that's big. Like you said, a lot of people don't really get to achieve that. You know what I mean? And reach that milestone. So that was big for me. I was tracking it heavy a couple years ago, but then I just stopped tracking it because once you track it, you mess up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Once you try to reach something too hard and you think about it too much, it slows down your process. So again, I didn't know I was that close into the game. And then after, and they told me. But it was a big thing, man. That's something I really wanted to do in my college career, so I'm happy that I was able to do it.
Absolutely. And sort of somebody who's been at the head of the realm for you and everything like that, Coach Michael. Well, he's kind of obviously been the head coach and everything like that, as well as having a great support staff and Coach Morris and Coach Greg as well. Oh, what has it kind of been like just getting to learn under them and kind of just be with that staff and everything like that, just work with them?
It's incredible, man. Like you don't really get an opportunity to be in a situation like this. So, backstory: when I was at OBU, and the school shut down, Coach Mike was still at West Liberty, and they recruited me, and I went on a visit there, and that was my first time meeting him. So I already knew him before I got out here, but then getting out here, I met him more as a person. Man, he's a great guy, In a couple years or right now and down the line, gonna be one of the best coaches in the nation. You know what I'm saying? And he do got a well-supported staff and they're young. So me going through all the college journeys I done went through, you usually don't find coaches that's that down to earth as them, honesty, and just free. Like he's a new coach, so he learning while we learning. So it's all free. We all learning together, and it's fun. It ain't crazy strict. We got morals. We working hard. We playing with effort, energy, and that's all he want. And it's amazing. I wouldn't want to be nowhere else, man. That's my guy.
So I guess cycling right into that. So you mentioned you've been quite the journeyman in your college career. So what has I guess that the answer to that question cycles me into this. What brought you here initially to Coker, and what allowed you to settle on that as your final choice this time around?
It was Coach Mike. You know what I mean, he since day one, since I met him, he was nothing but honest. And you don't find that in too many coaches. Like coaches that do something to get you here, and then when they get you here, they change. Or, you know what I'm saying? So since the day I met him, he was honest, and he coached a couple players that I know. So I talked to them about him, and they said the same thing. One of the guys that he coached is still at West Lib, and he loves him. Like, he loves Coach Mike. So I knew if he liked him, I like him. And then when I got out here, it was nothing but the same. It was the same, but even more. Like, that's my guy, man. Like, he took me in, let me be me, but also is teaching me the game and showing me other things that other people didn't show me, while still letting me be who I am. You don't really find that in college, somebody to let you truly be who you are 100% around the way.
Yeah, I can second that. Being a college athlete myself, you find that one guy who recruits you out of high school, and then you get there and he's like totally different guy. It's hard, but when you find that guy, you don't want to play for anybody else. He'll drive the team, players, everyone's on the same page. It's really something special.
Definitely.
So I got a question. So when you're in those high pressure situations, like such as late game scenarios when the game's on the line, like you're the guy to go to. How do you handle that, and what's your thought process on that?
It's just a lot of hours, man. When you train a lot. So I've been on the grind for about 4 years, man. Like, we're really on the grind where I'm training 2 times a day, and just working hard. And still right now, I'm still doing that. And then being in the gym with my team and the coaches 24/7, I know, like, they trust me. So if they trust me, why can't I trust myself? You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you got the trust of your teammates and your coaches, it's like, oh, it's nothing. It ain't really no pressure when they trust you and they gonna be with you, win, lose, or draw. They gonna be with you and they gonna support you and they trust me. So when it come down to that time, I just try to make a play for my team, no matter if it's scoring, rebounding, defending, or even passing. I'm just trying to make the right play for the team, and I know they trust me to make that right play every time. So I got to do it.
So just going back and like looking at your whole basketball career as a whole, high school, middle school, whenever you started playing, what's your most memorable moment or the moment that sticks out to you the most?
It'll probably be that game with the 42. That was big. I done been a part of a lot of big games. I done did big things, but that was probably the biggest one. That's my career high of my life. Like I said, I got to stamp my name into a record book. That's pretty big. It would be there for a long time, hopefully. So that was big.
Well, I mean, the last one was there since '84. So
yeah, it was tied in 2011, but it wasn't broken. So those two guys have held that since 2011, and nobody's really touched it. And then, you hit 33 once and 36 once this season. So you kind of were creeping up there, and it's got to be such a cool moment to say, hey, my name is in this book and it'll be there forever for sure.
Yeah, it's big. It's big.
Coming up on the end of the season, how's the energy looking in the locker room? Make a SAC title push this year.
Oh, it's great. That was the goal from day one. We wanted to come in and right away change the culture here because for a couple years it ain't been too good. So Mike was coming from a great program, and all he knows is winning. So when he came here, since day one, he told us, we not working this year to try to become something later on. We trying to become something right now, and let's do it right now. Let's win and show them that we ain't come to play. So that's been the goal for us the whole time. So we ready. We've been getting better and better each game goes on. As long as the season, every day we just trying to get better and improve day by day. Take it one day at a time, and we ready. We gonna try to go in there and do something big in that SAC tournament.
And speaking of Coach Lamberti and everything like that, the one thing that I've both on the side, I'd end up in the broadcast area and everything like that. The one thing I always recognize with Coach Lamberti, he's always getting the crowd involved, getting you guys involved. He's always finding a way to kind of bond everything together and everything like that, making that X factor, if you will. And it's one of those things where I gotta ask for you as a player. That's huge when you can get a guy who's always trying to get the crowd loud, get you guys loud, and everything like that. That's almost like a game changer with Coach Lamberti, especially coming in late to the season. And it didn't even start late in the season; it was at the beginning of the season. I remember seeing at for the FMU game and everything like that. He was getting the crowd fired up and everything like that. And I assume for you guys, that's got to mean a lot. Just having a coach who's always trying to be fired up, get everybody going and everything like that, and just create that winning environment and that playing environment that everybody wants to be a part of.
Like I said, he's changing the culture. So like he came from winning. He came from support. He came from all that cheering for your teammates, no matter what the situation is. So he just trying to install that in us right now and install that into the school. So even outside of basketball and what we do about energy and cheering and all that, on the other end, he want us cheering for other sports because he knows it's going to come back. So we go cheer for other sports. We go to games. He go to the games and sit and watch just to show his face. That way they come and cheer for us. So it's a big culture change for everybody. He trying to change the whole culture and supporting everybody and cheering, having fun, because you only get this once. And one of his main things he say is don't take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we living by, and we going hard as we can.
Growing up, like who did you look up to model your game after? And not only that, as a man.
I had, since a kid, man, I was always just playing basketball. So outside playing. When I was younger, my favorite player is Allen Iverson, LeBron, and then Kyrie. So when I was young, you know, AI was still playing, so I modeled my game after him. But I was around my cousins. I had a lot of older cousins. So AI became my favorite player because he was my older cousin's favorite player. So, you know, it was right there. It was simple. So I watched him a lot and just playing a lot of basketball. But as I got older, you know what I'm saying, and you start really, like, learning the game, your IQ get bigger once you just play a lot. Like, I surrounded myself with basketball 24/7. That's all I do. I train, I play basketball. When I'm at home, I'm watching basketball. I'm playing a video game with basketball. So I take stuff from everybody I see. So, like, now I'm a fan of basketball in general as a whole. You can be younger than me. You can be older than me. We could be the same age. If I see something and I like it, I might try it. I might see how it work out. You know what I'm saying? So I got a couple young guys that I'll train with for years. Like one right now, he's a top player in the country. His name is Darren Peterson. You know what I'm saying? I've been training with him for a long time. And in his eyes, he probably think, he watching me. And he probably think he learning from me. But really, I'm learning from him. You know what I'm saying? I got a little cousin that's a senior in high school doing real well. He just hit 1,000 points in high school. That's big. I called him and told him that's big. Your cousin ain't get to do that. But I learn from him every day. You know what I mean? And he younger than me. I learn from these guys right now on my team. When I see some, good move, I might want to try that one day. You know what I'm saying? During these past couple of years, I got a real close relationship with Eric and CJ McCollum as well. I got to train with them over the summer, and just watching them and what they do and how they prepare themselves and how hard they work to be where they at and to stay, it motivated me, it thrived me to just go harder. And I learned a lot from them as well, just being in the gym with them. They taught me a lot, you know what I mean? Especially Eric. So being around them helped me a lot. So once I met them and build a relationship with them, I start watching their game even more because, you know, they from my city, so it's right there. So I start studying them even more and what they do. And it's a lot of hours. It take a lot of hours to do what them two guys did and to be successful, man. And it just motivated me because they doing it and they still doing it. And I watched it. Like, I just seen it over the summer. Like, man, these guys just make shots. They work their butt off, and you could tell it was hours. You could tell it's way more than what I even seen. Like, they probably been doing this since they was kids. The same thing, like, consistently, persistent. Like, them boys, shot makers, man, tough shot makers, everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I guess a little bit of piggybacking off of that, you know, how myself being from Northeast Ohio area, you know, seeing all these guys be successful in the league at the highest stage that are from that area. I mean, obviously the biggest name would be LeBron James being from Akron, Ohio, you know, playing at St. Vincent St. Mary's. I mean, even Steph Curry, born in Akron, guys like Omari Spellman, recently, a guy that I got to watch play that was, you know, a little bit younger than the both of us, and Chris Livingston, who's now on the Bucks. Like you said, Darren Peterson, another kid that's up and coming that will get his shot eventually.
For sure.
What's that been like in your influence in basketball, and how has that shaped your perspective?
To me personally, man, Ohio get overlooked a lot. So while I travel the world and every state I've been in and I'm playing for that Ohio. I hold Ohio strong. So, like, we got a lot of talent out there that ain't getting seen besides them guys. It's a lot. Like, I got a little cousin named Corey Lipkins. He'd be on the come up soon, but Ohio don't really get seen. But you got a dude named Sincere Harris that went to St. V. He's at Illinois right now. He's a monster. You know what I'm saying?
I know Sincere.
It's more kids like that in Akron and the Canton area that's real good, man. ain't getting to notice because Ohio's so small at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So it thrived me. It made me work hard seeing all these kids, and then they looking up to me. So I'm going hard for them as well, as more as myself. Just let them know, like, we got a chance. Like, we gonna put Ohio on. Let them know some talent out here for real.
For sure. And you see that you mentioned something that you get a lot of talent out of, the bigger states, Florida, Texas, Cali, Georgia, New York. You hear a lot about the DMV and stuff like that, but Ohio really gets overlooked in that aspect. And you see guys at every level from Ohio, not just the big D1 schools or in the league and stuff like that. You see guys like yourself at the D2 level, and I've got a couple friends that play NAIA ball. One just hit his 1,000 points in college. Is from the Akron area. So you see guys like that all the time that they get overlooked. So it's nice that you keep that in the forefront of your mind when you're playing. Like, I have to get recognized, and not just for myself, but for my people and for my city, for sure.
Yeah, every step I done made through this journey has been for my people, man. I was blessed to get trained by a guy that was young. So when I was a sophomore in high school, the dude I trained with, his name is Connor Huth. He run a training thing called God's Court, one of the biggest trainings in Ohio. He was a senior when I was a sophomore, so we super close in age. So when I graduated, about a year or so, he started my senior year when I graduated, and then I got with him like a year after he started. And since then, it'd been me and him. So that's the main thing we try to do. Like, we try to put on for Ohio, man, like, and get us recognized, because we got a lot of talent out there. But I think I don't know if, I ain't saying that people overlook us off the strength of like talent in the bigger states. I just think like Ohio is so small of a state compared to them.
Correct.
And we don't have that many. Like, when you look at state to state, it's so many schools in states. Like, Georgia has so many schools. Even down here, so many D2s, D1s, to where it's so many schools, you gonna see a kid. But Ohio, we don't got that many schools for real. So it's a slighter chance. And then other states have way more pros. So, like, I got a real close friend that is from the Georgia area. I went out there this summer and went to watch his little brother play in high school, and they had an event for like summer league. Summer league in Ohio, it's good basketball, but you ain't gonna really see that many coaches that often. I went to this summer league out in Georgia. It was coaches at every court. I mean, it was like an AAU tournament for high school, and it was crazy because I wasn't used to that in Ohio. Ohio, you just play your high schools. Y'all have a little couple games just in the summertime to get ready. Now these guys out there getting recruited in their summer league. But the bigger picture was every coach that was there was from Georgia. So they coming back and giving back to their community. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
So the more professionals, the more people who made it are coming back and giving back to their states. And that's why Cali, Texas, Georgia, and Florida have all them recruitments, because people is always coming and giving back. That was in position of power at one point in time, and Ohio don't have that many. So that's something I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get into power and make it as far as I can with this. Like, I want to be a pro, and then when I'm done being a pro, I want to help kids get farther than I did. You know what I mean? And I learned that from, like I said, my trainer. He big on that right now, and he ain't even go as far as I did. He stopped. He played like 2 years of college and then went to training to help kids, and he helped me out tremendously, and he's still helping kids now. So we trying to change the wave in Ohio, man. Bron do it, CJ do it, Eric doing it, but we pushing for sure.
So we got some Instagram questions for you. One from Jacoby Garrett. He asked, "What are your goals after college, and what's your plans for after Coker?"
I want to go pro, either straight overseas, or I want to try to get into the G League or play in the summer league in the summertime and just give myself the best shot. But I'm pushing to play pro for sure.
And then, how was your transition from your previous school to here?
It was easy, man. It depends on what part of transition you ask. And he's talking about school, or they talking about just basketball. The basketball side, it was easy. You know what I mean? I went from a situation, I was blessed to be there. You know what I mean? I liked it there. I liked it real close with the assistants. The players I was cool with. We had a good year. We did something big there too. They was coming off a couple bad seasons. We got out there. We had a winning season, made it to the conference championship and lost. Okay. But it was a good experience. So when I was there, though, I tore my hip, and I had hip surgery. So when I was there, I was recovering off of hip surgery. So for half of the year, I wasn't as quick as I should have been. I couldn't jump for real, but it got better during the year, and we still made a push, and I still had a great year there. So it was a good experience. I got to see another side of basketball. I was in the Arkansas area. You got Texas, you got Oklahoma, you got Memphis out that way. So I seen a whole different side of basketball that I didn't see. So that was a good thing. And then when I got here, it was easy. And it was easy because of coach. I mean, he made it real easy for me. I was already pretty familiar with this area of basketball. And, like, one thing I be telling people that I talk to, like my cousins and the kids I'm around that be playing basketball, don't get too down, don't get too high about life, because as long as you work and stay consistent, it all pan out. And one thing I've been saying since I got out here, life came in a full circle. So when I graduated high school, I was a young senior. I graduated 16, 17 years old as a senior. So I was going to do a prep year. I went to a prep in North Carolina called Mount Zion. I was out there for 2 months. I liked it. And I was a mama's boy, scared to go home. You know what I mean? I was scared to be that far away from home. That was far, especially fresh out.
From Ohio, it's pretty far.
Yeah, so fresh out, I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie. So I got homesick and I ain't go, but I should have went. But like I said, it all pans out. So now we 6, 7 years down the line from that time. I was 17 at that time. I'm 24 now. So we all the way down the line, and now I'm in South Carolina. So, like, life came in a full circle.
Circle for sure, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just crazy. It was easy, though, man. He made it real easy for me. This is probably the best team I've been a part of. Like, you know, when you come in the team, especially as a transfer, you come in and people like on the team like, oh, man, he ain't coming in here and take my spot. He ain't coming here to do this. You know, everybody got agendas. But this team, since day one, I came in and they accepted me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is one of the best teams I've probably been a part of, for real.
Yeah, I feel like Coker's like that. I myself transferred in here my freshman year, and I thought the same thing as you. I thought they were going to be accepting, or just going to be like, you're not taking my spot or anything. But Coker, I mean, they just got the people here. I mean, people keep you here, and they help you out a lot. You come to the team, everyone's welcoming. I was like, this is crazy, but that's just how Coker is, man.
Yeah, and I've experienced that as well. I transferred from my freshman to my sophomore year from Malone University at D2 in Canton down to Ohio Christian, which is an NAI that's south of Columbus. And then, you know, coming down here, you know, I had never been outside of Ohio. So it's the culture here. I mean, even not being a part of a sports team, I do some volunteer assistant stuff with the tennis team, but being in even just in the athletic department, the people around here, you can tell that it's an easier transition than it should be, for sure.
No, definitely, man. It's that southern hospitality.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
It's a real thing. So
yes.
like even me, like I had to, and this was something I talked to Eric about this summer, man. Like coming from Ohio, you got to be a dog. You got to be a killer. So that's the whole mindset I done had my whole life. Like I walk into this gym, I'm trying to be the best here. Like I want to, who the best in here? I want to see him. You line up across from me. Let's get it on. So I took that mindset everywhere I went, and all the time that ain't good. It's okay. It's cool to have that mindset on the court, but when you get off the court, you got to be social. You got to let people get to know you. And my early years of college, I didn't do that because I'm coming from a place where it ain't like that. Mm-hmm. You got to earn that. You got to get it. So this summer, Eric talked to me a lot. Like, man, when you go in there, dominate on the court, but still show who you are. You a good person. You got a good personality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Show that. So that was one thing I came into this school doing. And I opened up way earlier than I did at any other school. So that's why it was easy for me to get here and transition well, too, because I already made my mindset to where I'm going to be nice. I'm going to still show my talent on the court, but I'm going to still be a good guy at the end of the day because that's what I am. But early on, I don't show it too early, but I showed it early this time. But no, it's real, man. Like, different states is crazy, like the different states and how you people is grew up, how you raised. Like, Ohio, a gritty state. We know we under the radar. We know we don't get looked at, so we hungry. So if you ever meet an Ohio person and they might be closed off, they might be super focused and just a super dog mentality, that's because that's where we come from. But when you get to know us, we nice, we goofy. You can talk to us. It's just when you first meet us, we know we got something we gotta take care of.
Yeah, it's like they call it having that switch. Like it's not earned. You gotta really work at that. And I know a couple guys that growing up, they were all hard-headed on the field. They wouldn't change at all. You just someone you wouldn't want to be around. But as you grow as an athlete, as a person, as a man, you get that switch, and then off the field, you're just a totally different person than you're on the court. I mean, that's what you need, and especially with you going to go pro, you got all of that media stuff and everything. You got to gotta market yourself almost as being that guy that people can relate to. So that's good that you.
No, definitely. That's why I did this podcast. Because when y'all first texted me, I was nervous, man. I really don't like doing this, but I got to be in a position where I'm doing this, and I got to show, like I said, I got to show my people back home that we can do it.
Sure, for sure.
Because nobody would have thought we'd have been here, man. If people knew what I went through to get here, man, it'd be crazy. I went through a lot of bumps and bruises and grinding, man. Years of grinding with no end goal. Like before I got to Ohio Valley, that was the Cobra year, man. I was at, like I said, like he said, I was at Kentucky. So I knew there coming in, before I went to Kentucky, I tore my knee. So I tore my knee. I was coming off of knee surgery. I wanted to go JUCO, but I ain't want to like come back from knee surgery and have to work super hard. You know what I mean? I wanted to be easy because I just tore my knee. So I went to Kentucky. My cousin was there. We did something big there too. We won, we was like 18-11. That's the most they won ever. Boom, COVID hit. So now I'm trying to enter the portal and trying to go up and do that. I was emailing coaches. I had a couple coaches hit me back, but COVID hit, you couldn't take visits. So then I was stuck without a year without going to a school. So I just worked my butt off the whole year, straight in the gym, grinding with my trainer, and with nothing. Like, I didn't have nothing. I was just grinding, believing in God, had my faith. I knew something was going to come because I'm working hard, and I did everything right. So, boom, Ohio Valley did come, went there, boom, the school shut down. You know, usually people would be like, that happened to somebody else, they're going to be distraught. Like, a lot of the guys on my team was distraught, because some of them was foreigners, so they had to go back home. They didn't want to go back home, so it was a crazy experience. But once again, you know, you keep moving, you work hard, trust in God. So when the school shut down, I went home, and we got right back to it. Back in the gym, I'm training. Luckily, I was having an incredible year there, too, so I had a lot of coaches hit me up from as soon as the school shut down. And I could have went to school in the spring semester and played, but I'm like, no, I want to stay this year, weigh my options, and then, boom, I got to Arkansas Tech. Went there, but right before I got out there, when I was at Ohio Valley, I was playing on a torn hip and didn't know. So I'm battling. I'm hurting after every game. I had a trainer there that helped me out a lot. Her name was Cassie, man. She kept me going. Like, without her, I wouldn't have been able to play. Boom, I found out about the surgery. I ended up getting that surgery May of that year. Went to Ohio Valley in August that year. So I was 4 months out of surgery going to Arkansas Tech. You know what I mean? So I'm grinding there, met a good trainer there that helped me out a lot. His name was Mr. Duke. And I grinded. Like I said, for the whole year I couldn't jump. And y'all seen me jump now. I'm an athletic guy. I didn't have it.
Yeah, you can get up there.
Yeah, hit 360 layup for the 42nd point. You know,
yeah,
so.
I didn't have it. I didn't have none of that. It was hard for me to go right because I had the surgery on my left side. So you push off your left leg to go right. So that was hard. But we still grinded every day, was in the gym, worked on my body, and then had a good year. It didn't pan out the way I wanted it to, and I had to leave and got here, and this was the best decision I ever made. So a lot of people that would have went through that this course of this journey, man, it's crazy. But that's just I'm just showing everybody who know me and that meet me, just persevere, man, stay consistent, focus on your goals, trust your work, and everything will pan out.
So, I mean, just listening to you, I mean, you got that mental toughness that it's really hard to come by. So, I mean, looking at like a younger generation, like people that are struggling, they're coming through rough come-ups, they don't know what to do. They're like, should I give up the game? Should I go provide for my family? Like, what's your advice to someone going through that, knowing your mental toughness?
Man, my advice, and this is something I didn't have early on, so I always been like a helper. But I was the helper that didn't take my own advice. So, like, I tell people, when you going through something, man, talk to somebody. But when I go through something, I won't talk. But that's just the way I cope with my issues and what I was going on. It was better for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, how I got through it made me better, but everybody can't be like that. So the big thing I tell somebody who's going through something, man, don't give up. Don't quit. Because when you quit, you're going to regret it once you get out that storm. At the end of the storm, it's always light. So just keep going, keep staying consistent, even when you lose your confidence, when you lose the love for it, just stay consistent. Because if you stay consistent, everything could come back. Because there's going to be a time where you're going to be in a hard path and you might feel like, oh, it ain't working, or, oh, this ain't for me no more. But just stay consistent, because it's going to come back. The love will come back. It'll all work out. So just stay consistent. Talk to people. Don't hold nothing in, because when you hold something in, it eats at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anything you're going through, have somebody there that you can talk to. because you never want to let it eat at you, because it's either going to go two ways. You either going to stay sad and you're going to get weak, or it's going to make you angry at the wrong things. So early on, going through a lot, what I was going through in Ohio, as far as this life things, like, you know, you got deaths, you got all that playing your life. Out of high school, I didn't get recruited highly the way I thought I should. I mean, it crushed me. It did. It crushed me, man. But I closed off. I stopped letting people get to know me. I felt like everybody was against me. I didn't trust nobody. I just put my head in the gym and just worked as hard as I could. And that worked for me. But that might not work for every kid. But one thing I wish I would have did, and I tell people this all the time, if I can go back, I wish I would have talked to somebody. I wish I would have let somebody help me early on, because I probably missed out on the opportunity because I was closed off. You know what I mean? And then even with like deaths and situations like that, man, it's okay to cry. Like I ain't no crier. I ain't cried and couldn't tell you how long. But going through all them deaths and going through everything in my life, the times I needed to cry and I didn't, it just made me angry. So that's why when I was going to college, that's where that anger came in. I was angry at other things in my life and took it out on people. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't vulnerable. I didn't let people get to know the good side of me, the personality side, the laughs, the giggles. I'm really a goofy guy. So yeah, man, just be approachable, let people talk to you, let people help you if they really gonna help, and just put yourself out there, man, and everything gonna be all right, and stay consistent. That's what I tell a younger guy or anybody that's going through something.
But I'm glad that you got that mental toughness in you and you know what to do. I mean, the younger guys definitely listen. I mean, it works. Come from myself. I've been through a lot myself, and I mean, definitely talk to someone. Don't be afraid. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, if anything.
Definitely. It's weak when you hold it in and you keep it to yourself because you're scared to show your flaws.
Absolutely.
That's one thing I did, too, through my journey, man. I stopped looking around at everybody, what they was doing. I stopped worrying about all that. I said, look, man, this is your life. This is the path you got to take. We're going to take it chin up, chest up, and we're going to go as hard as we can and see where it takes us. And this is where it took me. So it all pans out, man. Just stay strong, stay committed, stay dedicated. It'll all work out for real.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got. Appreciate you coming on. Been a pleasure.
No problem, man. Happy to be here.
Andre Leavell, everybody. Let's dive right into our weekly roundup, highlighting key results and performances across various sports at Coker this past week. I want to start off by acknowledging our hat tricks from men's lacrosse this past week against Barton. Elijah Utz had 3 goals, hat trick, and then on this past Saturday we had Ryan Forehand getting a hat trick along with 2 assists versus North Greenville. And I want to take it back to the diamond with JT.
Yeah, so on the diamond, Cam Jackson for women's softball against UMO went ahead and hit three home runs, 5 RBIs, going 4 for 6 in that doubleheader. And then Grayson Chambliss also hitting a 3-run home run against North Greenville in the second game on Saturday. A huge weekend of activity for softball. And then moving over to the track, men's track and field and women's track and field both competed at the USC Indoor Open. Women were able to set 7 personal records and 1 season best, as while the men, 9 PRs, ours in 2 top 10 finishes, 1 from Jeffrey Stills finishing 3rd in the 60-meter, and then Yazir finishing 8th in the 200-meter dash. So, and then moving over to the court, or with men's and women's basketball. Men's tied the most points in a single game record again against Mars Hill, 120-94. Women went ahead and also beat Mars Hill on that day, 59-43, and 4 games left in the regular season for both teams, 2 on the road, 2 at home. The 2 away games are going to be this week, and then the 2 home games are going to be next week. So, and then David, baseball also in some action.
Yeah, so baseball swept Emory and Henry to open sack play. Alex Lazar with a walk-off in the 11th inning of that first game. And then they won the whole series, sweeping them, and they're looking to keep going in that aspect. Inside, we had Acro and Tumbling. They beat both FMU and Belmont Abbey. They had a try matchup, so Coker was the top scorer with 256.21. Belmont Abbey was second with 256.01, so just 0.2 separating those two teams. And then FMU was at 177.49. So Belmont Abbey, who placed second in that, was actually the number 10 team in the country, while Coker was preseason number 12. So we're looking for a little bit of shakeup in those rankings because Coker sure deserves it after starting the season off hot. Moving back to the courts, women's tennis with a huge 3-0 sweep this weekend. They beat USC Sumter 9-0 on Friday. They beat Converse in what was effectively tennis's version of a walk-off on Saturday. And then Sunday, they beat Johnson C. Smith 7-0. So they were pretty dominant on the weekend. Just going back to what highlighting some athlete performances. Caroline Myers for women's tennis. The way that the tennis scoring works is that the doubles is 1 point, and then each single spot is its own point. So there's 7 points available. And at the end of the match, it was tied 3-3, and the last person playing was court 6, which was Caroline Myers. Her match went into 3 sets, and in the third set took the victory, which got them the 4th point, which clinched the match, which was effectively, it's like their version of a walk-off. So it was really cool to see her get that victory and take a big win over rival Converse. On the men's side, they got 2 wins this weekend, beating USC Sumter 8-1. And then on Sunday, they both teams went up to Charlotte. Both of them got a victory, and they beat Johnson C. Smith 6-1. So great wins from the men's and women's tennis teams over the weekend.
Now, moving on to next week, all of our action here at Coker Athletics. We got women's golf at Hilton Head today and tomorrow. And then moving on to Wednesday, we have baseball against Barton in a midweek matchup. And then back to the courts. What we got inside, JT?
Yeah, inside we got basketball. All going to be on the road against LR, one of the top teams that are obviously in the conference and everything like that they're going to be facing potentially in the playoffs and everything like that for both teams. Teams for LR with 5:30 and 7:30 tip-off there on the weekend for basketball. And then for softball, back out on the diamond, ironically, they're also on the road against Shaw. 1 and 3:30 starts there. And then Acro and Tumbling going to go ahead have their first road matchup against Lander on Thursday the 22nd. And then Friday, the 23rd, baseball returns home to the diamond against Anderson. And track and field going to go ahead and start off the weekend on their SAC Indoor Championship meet this weekend. So, and then David, it is a whirlwind of activity on Saturday.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on this Saturday, both at home and on the road. So first at home, baseball's got their doubleheader against Anderson. So continuing their home game stand, which started on Friday evening. They play at 1 and 4 over there, Dave Schmatzer Field, or Dave Schmatzer Stadium, Tom J. New Field. Men's and women's basketball are at Tusculum. Men are at 4, women are at 2. Men's lacrosse also have a pretty big game against number 3 in the country, Limestone, to start SAC play. Men's and women's track and field continuing their SAC Indoor Track and Field Championships on Saturday. And then men's and women's softball is also at home, 1 and 3. So 2 big games against Erskine. And then men's and women's tennis also at home, 1 o'clock against Mount Olive. So looking for 2 big wins to continue their great start that they had over the weekend.
And there you have it, guys. It's another episode of the Cobra Corner. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we can't wait to see you supporting Coker Athletics in the stands or online. Your support really does make the difference for our team, so keep cheering, be loud, and let's go Cobras. Thank you, everybody.